Right? But if you play and feed your organic microbes and don't put sanitizer on yourself, your organic microbes are going to fucking heal that cut just like Neosporin. Maybe you don't put stuff over it like we do Band-Aids, all this shit we've been taught, just like we've been taught in the 50s and 60s to throw synthetic fertilizer on everything and the plants are, the ground erodes. No, I mean, you gotta have some balance and some kind of like, all right, let's throw organics down. Hey, yeah, if we need to fix something, I'm not going to be stubborn and say I'm only organic and no-till unless like my shit is built up for years and been providing only with organic and no-till, but it takes years to get there. Sometimes you supplement. And that's what we do as farmers to get our crops there. But build towards organic, build towards never feeding fertilizers and, or causing erosion, of course.
It's going to take a minute.
Yeah, it just takes a minute and takes time. But, hey.
How do you say the name of your farm?
Persephone.
Persephone.
So she's a Greek goddess, right? Persephone is the goddess of harvest. So what happened to her? She was this beautiful, like, teenager. She brings bounty anywhere she walks. Boom, flowers and fruits come up, right? Well, Hades saw this bitch and was like, damn, she's hot as fuck.
Save this for a podcast.
I found...
We're going already. So
okay, good. You're recording? All right, good. So he's like, damn, this bitch, let me fucking manipulate her. So he goes, I got a pomegranate. It is fruity and juicy and novelty and boutique. Let me bring your hot ass down to the underground. So she goes, I'm dumb and young. And she goes down to the underground. And boom, before you know it, she's promised him 6 months out of the year. All right. So what happens? Her parents up here make a deal with Hades that, look, you can have her for 6 months, but we need her on Earth. If she's not there, we will have no harvest, no bounty, no spring, no summer. So what he does is he goes, okay, well, I manipulate her enough. I can have pussy a couple months out of the year. And then I'll send her back up to the upper world. And she brings harvest, bounty, spring, summer, boom. And then what happens when it gets cold? She's promised back, man. So what I try to do is it's Persephone's gift, really, was kind of the idea that she's available all year round. Whether it's because I'm controlling greenhouse, I'm doing indoor, trying to make sure that I work with nature versus, So I just plan on that, like an all year Persephone, man.
Cool.
Yeah, that's why my logo now is a pomegranate. People are like, what do you sell, fucking pomegranates? I'm like, no, I sell novelty, boutique, dank ass weed. But it's CBD. Still it's dank. Still it's novelty. Still it's awesomely grown. I mean, that's the idea. It's just like fresh boutique, new, and it's like really taken care of. And it's like, okay, if you know what Persephone is or you look it up, I've taken time to think about that. I've taken time in this project. You guys know I talked to you buying trays and trying to learn how to grow microgreens just to provide for this and get my license, man. We're talking years in the making. So
let's get into that. Just so everybody knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So this is Nick. I'm here with Brandon.
Yeah.
Up to a great start.
You got it.
So
this guy will carry us.
We'll carry through.
So we're here with Joe Hauser. We are at a hemp farm in Wimington, North Carolina.
Sure.
And the great thing about this is I know nothing about the hemp industry.
Right.
I've got a lot of questions, and we're just going to throw them at you. So why don't you, other than the name, which we just covered, give us like the 2 or 3 minute origin story. Where'd you come from?
Right.
Post farming, into farming, and then where we're at.
So ultimately, man, my grandfather grew up in. I'm Joseph Albert Hauser III. My grandfather was the first. He grew up in Kansas. He was a Depression era farmer. I lived with him on and off. My dad, him and I were real close. My dad is my business partner in Persephone. So my grandfather, his dad, always taught me how to grow jalapenos, bottle things, just from a young age got me into it, man. Because of my rebellious nature, I dabbled in hemp and cannabis when I was younger and learned how to grow. And then I was always thrilled with growing vegetables. Peppers to greens to this, that. I mean, my girl, when we met, we had a little plot in Oak Island and some sand. I mean, anywhere I'm at, whether it's an apartment, I always did this well. Luckily, eventually I shopped around, got an idea of a farm, put the business plan out, got the idea going, put it into works as a vegetable farm. The idea within a year, I'd be able to get my hemp license as being a taxable farmer in general.
Because you've showed income over.
I've showed income. Yep. So then I was able to do that. So, I mean, we're talking like where we're talking like 2 years into this, because I'm looking at plans, growing freaking peppers on my porch and, looking into hemp licenses and doing that and growing veggies and just really, really putting it to work. Bootstrap was a huge inspiration. So that's where we're at with that, man. I always, any question I had, man, it was a really cool relationship. So now you guys are here at the farm. You're seeing where I'm at. I did grow microgreens. I did the vegetables. I sold and I did exactly what
we got peppers out there.
And we still got peppers. And we're going to expand the vegetables. I plan to have 2 to 3 of those pepper plots, and then also lemongrass and lavender up front, and then a little pepper area, berry area where I had strawberries and blueberries earlier and watermelons. But we're going to keep going with that like foraging thing next year. I'm going to tarp a bunch of stuff off and really we just bought this property. So we actually had the business going for a year. Then we worked on it. Not only that, bought the property. We're going all in, and we're going to like turn this into its own full urban farm, man. Foraging, neighbors can come by in the front. Like, that'll be cool. Like, I don't know, man. We're just about the community, but also about hemp and farming. That's why I always stick. It is a hemp farm right now, but we do grow extra, and we do sell things to other restaurants, man. We do novelty. That's what we're about. It's fresh, novelty, rare stuff we can geek out on, man. Like, all of us,
It's a really small space. It's basically your backyard.
Dude, it's like the backyard's probably 0.3 of an acre, and the front yard's like 0.1. We only have 0.4 of an acre total. So, I mean, yeah, we're rocking out. We got a 16 by 16 greenhouse for my vegetative and for my micros. That's what the tables are for. And then we have a 20 by 40 light deck greenhouse for the flowering hemp. So we actually have 1,000, more than our house. And we have more greenhouse space than house space on this property.
Sounds ideal.
Fuck yeah.
Nick and I were talking about, how we make farming cool.
Right.
And I think what you're doing is a really good example of
yeah, man.
You're turning your backyard into, like, I turned my swimming pool into a koi pond.
Yeah. Dude.
That makes it's fun.
So
right?
G.
But you're taking your backyard and making business out of it, but
yep.
growing the things you want to grow.
Right.
Also understanding, like, this is fun, but you can get the price you want because it's going to be a niche specialty product.
Niche, boutique, novelty, all those words.
Premium,
and inputs, man. I mean, we're really taking the time. We're taking the effort. We're not just buying crap soil. We're building our soils. We're finding ways to spending more on trays because we know they work better, and we're going to come out with a quality product. You know what I mean? Air printing my microgreens was a huge thing I think set me apart. Being able to say I grew organic and air pruned, like I could bring a tray and show them the roots underneath, and they'd be like, what? Like, it looks like Parmesan cheese, I swear, man. It's just something about doing that specialty stuff that even if it's grows just as good, but it looks cool, it helps people. I mean, just like Michelle on your last episode, man, making it cool for kids in the urban environment. I think that's where it's at, because I think ultimately doomsday or any day, what the hell is wrong with growing some food, man, or growing anything, succulents, food, like, but I still love agaves and aloes, and it's cool to do all of that.
Well, because you can still turn that into some added value, something nobody else is doing.
Man, you rub that aloe on your skin the first time when you got a burn or something, you're like, damn, that's cool. I don't know.
So let's just talk about getting into hemp. We field a lot of calls from people, especially when a state first becomes available to grow. And it's just a flood of questions. I've personally never grown it. So my question is, what we've always had to equate it to, because of our lack of experience, is look, we've been told from a lot of people it's similar to growing tomatoes. I'm sure it's not the same, but that's
or peppers.
That's what we're trying to set up the farm to be. Yeah. So
I mean, they do fruit. The thing is, they're dioecious, meaning they have 2 cycles. There's a vegetative and then a flowering, and then they die. You know what I mean? They're a dioecious or whatever plant that they're not supposed to. They're supposed to put seed out or put bud out. And there's 2 varieties. And so, like, what's different from when you're growing hemp or cannabis is you want Sensimelia or bud without seed. So you don't want a male plant pollinating that female. So you find a male, you got to pull it out or use it for breeding and separate it, which a lot of people do. And that's how the genetics is huge in hemp and cannabis. I mean, that's where the money is at, is breeding and genetics, finding that strain. And, I have terpene tests on my hemp, like showing what terpenes, alpha pinene, beta carotene, limonene, myrcene, all those are in my hemp, like, which are like stuff you find in marijuana too. It's just they've bred out the THC, bred in the CBD, vice versa. Breeding is such a big game because it takes years and generations to get the THC out, or the THC up, or the CBG in, or this terpene versus that. I mean, it's like, it is such a niche novelty market, man, when you get to that high top shelf. That's why the people that know are really into it. Just like the farmer's market for the high-end veggies, people that are into hemp and cannabis are super into that top niche. Like, they don't want swag. They don't want something
liquor, cars, or guns, or whatever.
All that high-end, and there's gonna be a market for that as long as we have small business. And even so, you can have Monsanto and all these people come in, they could buy all that crap. People are still going to want to go to farmers markets and still going to want to come. I mean, I'm fielding calls as well all day. It's just about how to grow, or, hey, do you sell this? And I might not have enough, or it might not work. But I mean, there is interest, and the business is crazy, man. I'm selling my pounds for 4 times what I put in my business plan. So who would be upset with that?
Sure. We have a lot of people that are adding a small block to their existing farm for extra.
Yeah.
Rarely do I see. Here's what I see answering the calls, talking to people is, I've never farmed before, I'm going all in, or we're farmers, we're going to add this as a plot,
right? Which
to me makes a hell of a lot more sense. But I can see the excitement. I can see the opportunity, especially everybody wants to be early, even though I think they're late.
It is it's man, right now it's that cusp where I'm late almost getting, I should have hit my stride yet, where I'm now starting to. If I had hit it 6 months ago, I'd be killing it. You know what I mean?
But
like,
were you limited by you couldn't get your license then?
No, because it took me a year. I mean, I got in as soon as I found it, and the thing is that you can also have GPS coordinates. I have a good friend of mine that owns a hydroponic shop in here in Wilmington. We're good friends. We do business together. So I have him as a GPS coordinate under the Persephone farm license, and he's able to grow hemp on his own terms. And, we have to relay with the state and everything. But
is that this state Pacific?
Yeah, in North Carolina. So theoretically, I have friends that have licenses and have 10 different farms under one license. So there's like 1,400 license holders, but there could be there's way more than that actual farms, because some of them are really small or like in their backyard. And my main thing to tell people is, especially right now where you're a little late to the game, because people are calling me for consulting all the time, and man, I wish I had more time to do it. Believe me, I wish I did, because it's every day. So the idea being, I tell everybody, first off, start small. Do not go heavy. Start small, scale up. Urban farm it, see what you do, find a niche, because you might be able to grow 100 acres and have some money, but there's motherfuckers out there with 10,000 acres that when they really come into play, your field crop may not really mean much. You may have to do niche, boutique, and
you can stay nimble with what you're doing.
Nimble, totally. Yep. And still be aggressive. I mean, you really can, because you're the only people. There's not many, like you asked me who's in Wilmington. There's Port City Vapor, some good friends of mine that do indoor, organic, awesome grow light stuff. But they have a vape shop. They're going to sell out quick in their own store. They're not providing for everybody in the world. I mean, what happens in the winter when these field farmers are out? Well, us greenhouse and indoor guys, we're going to be making a killing. You
keep saying everybody's friends. I like hearing that everybody.
I would like to think so.
Everybody's at least friendly with each other.
They are, man. I've run into nothing but love, man. And, I would like to
talk about that early, importance of building the friendships and relationships in this industry.
The biggest, best response was us farming guys, us guys that were digging in the dirt, bootstrapping. Before I had my business plan, before I had a bunch of money to build a light depth greenhouse, my girl and I were out there digging our greenhouse plot by hand, digging out every root, every weed, man. You know what I mean? Finding ways to do it efficient and cheap. That's what it was. It was, I'm wearing Elmo's Natural Farm. This is my homie in Canada. He's a small farmer, but he's a beast, dude. He does everything sustainable. He's got birds. He's just a good guy. And I just love to put people on. And you guys helped put me on. You guys helped, we all helped each other. And it was a matter of, when something's good and you work together on good stuff, there's something about that, and it's fun.
You seem to find your people.
Yeah,
you find it. It's not the first time we've said this here.
Yeah, man. And we're from. I know New Bern's a little kind of close, but Texas. We're you guys are all over. I mean, you're selling stuff. I know people that know you in Colorado, and like I told my buddy Bootstrap and Skim, there's like, shit, we bought their trays in Colorado. Like, yeah, man, it's just like one love when it's actually a good product. I just think everybody needs to know there's enough to go around. Let's all be friends, man. Let's build this industry.
There's so much opportunity to kind of like reclaim farming and to make it our own for this next generation.
Yep.
You know, I'm only 2 hours north of you in Newburgh, and I thought I was alone when I moved down there. I thought I was going to be the only dude that thought anything like me down there. And guess what? You know, a few years in, I found
farmers markets,
and I have like my best friends there. We all have like very similar goals, like-minded people, and we're all working together. Like I'm in business with all of them now. Yeah. And I couldn't imagine doing anything better.
You know, that's really what it's about. I mean, I think like Instagram, social media, there's so much negative on there. Like the good stuff, like that's why I don't mess with Facebook much right now at all, not for a long time. But I love coming on my Instagram and everybody being like, hey, that looks cool. And I'm telling everybody this looks cool, like, because it does. And we all can do it. Nobody's like, it's not about competition because there's so many cool ways to do things. Like you're talking earlier, how many million ways to skin cats, even though we love cats. We don't want to skin them, but there's a lot of ways to do it. Right? If you want to do, hey, Luna. So, man, it's a bit really, that's, if you didn't answer my questions early on about my greenhouse, about trays, about microgreens, I asked you about pricing. You can be like, look, motherfucker, figure it out yourself. But you're like, dude, be confident. Like, go up there and say you took time into it and put a premium price on it. Yo, I did it and they bought it. And I texted you right after and I was like, yo, thank you so much. Like, that is crazy, man. I didn't know what to do. Because I went there and other bigger farmers were around and not there at the time, but I saw their stuff and, you know, it was crazy because I was just like, whoa.
It's easy to get intimidated.
It was intimidating, right? I asked you guys and like, it was just kind of like, man, you could call me anytime. Like, y'all would call me or pick up your man, I can't tell you how much that helped. And so I need to not lose sight of that. And I'm trying to do that. And like, people are asking me to consult and stuff. And it's like, I don't even know what to charge you. I'd rather just tell you some shit for free. Yeah. And then if we get into it, you know, if you need real help, we'll talk about it. But, you know, it's one of those things I'd love to pay it. I'm paying it forward. And I think we all should.
Yeah. I mean, we all benefit, right? We all bring each other up again, because, feel like we're recreating the industry.
Yeah. You know, competition also in a good way breeds better products. We can learn from each other and figure out new cool shit.
Like we're all competitive, but we all have that abundance mindset. Yeah. And those people with those attitudes is who we find, and that network it's growing pretty quick, man. It's good.
It is, man. And I think everybody really cooking too with stuff. And you know, you guys had your solid system, solid trucks, boom, 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 right? You help people with how to make it too, not just sell it to them. How do you like put things together? Did you do like education? That's the other part of it. Is like, like share it, man. Yeah, and sometimes there's got to be classes, and just like there's cooks for classes, there's cooks for growing, or classes for growing and classing for good. Mm-hmm. Did I?
No, you're right. Right.
We know exactly what you meant.
Okay. So it's just like, man, just fucking, I'm willing to pay to learn something new. And I think that all that works together, because you can have all the food in the world. If it sits in the fridge, you don't know how to cook it. Fuck.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting part of it. You know, it's cooking.
So a question I get a lot that I can't answer is, you grow it, everything's good, but where does it go? What's the process from getting it, from cutting through your processing to wherever it goes?
So the idea being, depending what state you're in, if you have the highest quality flower, right? You grow top shelf bud, looks like cannabis, you can actually sell it as smokable flower by the gram, by the pre-rolled joint, by the quarter ounce, half ounce, you know, actually sell it like weed, like in flower. And, you know, and it comes in sealed cases with a QR code. So you get pulled over. It shows the COA, which shows the levels on a paperwork to the cops. As long as it's not open, that's the idea, just like weed. Other ways, of course, cartridges, oils, sublinguals, topicals.
That means people are having to subtract the oil out of there.
They have to do, so you would sell it to, as a farmer standpoint, you'd sell it to a processor. For the most part, they can buy field hemp that low CBD, doesn't even look good, and they can turn it into gold. They turn it into crude, then they fractionally distill it and turn it into gold. They don't need to buy the high quality flower. So me, it would be silly to sell it. I'd get like a, you know, 15% of, they'd buy it for $150 where I'd sell it for $1,000. A pound. Yeah. Like it's just silly. I wouldn't sell it to them. But for outdoor field people, yes, by biomass, that is the best way to do it. If you're growing it for the CBD flower. Of course, you can grow it for the industrial hemp, the fiber, for
your
energy.
Your labor would go through the roof trying to process field hemp
for
flower.
Yeah, it would. I mean, you'd have to hand trim it or machine trim it. It would take, a lot of people do it on small farms, with under 10 acres or even, hemp, no. I mean, if you have outdoor cannabis, yeah, it might be worth it maybe if you got a good price for it. But otherwise, no, you're just going to sell it to processors. You're growing a big amount. You don't need to be too particular about the quality. Even though there's a ton of outdoor guys right now trying to do that. Sell it as smokable hemp. They think, and some of them can do it. But greenhouse is a lot more profitable.
But now we're looking at tiers in the market.
Totally.
So you're the premium price, but there's room for guys at different price points.
And there's some companies out there, like Port City Hemp, a friend's of mine, good guys. They're looking at making like a distribution network with quality A, B, C, and work with the state and work with everybody. Then there's other guys, my friend Eric, that's a breeder, Gansheim Genetics. He's trying to do, compliant level and then Delta 9, because there's different ways to look at the total THC and the THC factors and make silly, but there is, and federally there's a way to look at it. And then North Carolina, there's ways that there's a gray area. And so, yeah, there's a lot of room for different levels of the market, different qualities, and biomass is just what you want to sell for oil, man. And that turns into good oil when people do it right and it's regulated,
And those bigger farms, that's a completely different business. It's like a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Employees, machinery,
tractors, tilling, totally not at all, man. We're going like, I'm me and my girl. That's it. And we're the only, eventually I might, have an intern or something that really could help me that I would trust eventually, to do some things. But also I'm still expanding. A year ago you came here, it was just a small greenhouse, not a big ass greenhouse and a little plot, You come here from a year from now, there's going to be like 3 more plots. That side, I'm going to have the front tarped off, foraging, man. It's going to be like its own nest. Because we did just buy the property again. Like that makes a difference from a business standpoint. I can now invest in it and not be scared. Oh, I might have to move, or I don't know if I want to put greenhouses on it. Yeah. Man, I'm going to double down. Urban farm style, man. That's the new wave. And I think doing that and us doing interpack, and neighbors like, helping and competing and like showing, hey, let's trade this cut of tomato, this cut of pepper, man. I just think it's the wave of the future.
Yeah, exactly, man.
For food, come on, good
all
food.
On your own property.
Yep.
And we use that word again, nimble.
Yeah, man.
You're gonna learn your microclimates. You're gonna have equipment where you go year round.
Yep.
And you understand the value added benefit where
you
can always take those routes too. So
yeah, even if you just want to grow for yourself.
Because you don't know.
But then sell a little here and there. You could like make money on the side doing that, just like a hobby. It could be just like a lot of people. I think that's a cool thing. Like, make some money if you want it, man.
The benefit, like in 5 years, your opinions might change and what you want to do.
Yeah.
I want to pivot just a little bit.
Because you find a cool rare plant or a cool niche, and you just end up tweaking it. What are y'all about to do for tweaking, man? I know y'all are about value added. Y'all are always on top because I'm learning from you guys. I'm listening to this. Like when y'all branch out, I'm thinking like, all right, what kind of value added product? I like using that term and like, so what can you guys teach me today, man? Because I am trying to, there's so much we can talk about the hemp market and it's so fucking frustrating.
Well, it's actually something I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
Because I caught when we first met up today, she used to be a bartender.
Correct.
You were talking about lemongrass for straws.
Yeah, man, I still do that.
Dude, let's roll down on this.
And
Cause that's what we want to talk about is
lemongrass, dude, lavender just to have, and all that brings good bugs and freaking pollinators, I think that really is, so what I want at my ultimate farm or something would be to have a big patch of lemongrass, a patch of lavender for my girl, cause she's like obsessed with it and I love it too. Have hops up on, I have hops on the side of my house, but normally I just have a bunch of hops and then have my seasonal vegetables that I eat and whatever I don't eat, I can give away or sell. Right now, I'll give away or sell, but people just buy it. So why would I? Yeah.
Microbrews can use those hops as like a specialty thing where you're cross-promoting each other.
Mm-hmm.
You have extra peppers as local sauce to make it cross-promote each other that time of year.
Dude, what do you guys...
We're talking about added value. Earlier you mentioned turning trimmings into pellets to dry hop.
Boom, son. That's what I was about to say. What do you guys think about that? Because whether it's a kombucha or a beer brewer or whoever needs flavoring, like, I know it's not like legal to infuse beer with CBD, but you wouldn't be doing that on like a dry hopping level. So my idea is, taking like my nice trimmings and pollen keef stuff and little popcorn buds and grinding it down, milling, pressing it into little pellets to use for dry hopping or kombucha flavoring to stretch the market.
What do you do with your leaf? Just your leaf.
That's what I composted. Normally I put it.
You could use it as a garnish for CBD infused thing.
I was looking to do, so one of the things, remember we talked, I think I asked you guys, I wanted to do hemp microgreens, but I can't find any seed that's cheap enough to make it worthwhile. And not only this, you couldn't sell it live because each restaurant would have to have their own hemp license because they theoretically be growing it. So then if you cut it, it doesn't look as pretty. It was just like, man, it was a dead. But I wanted that so bad, bro.
It's important to learn what we want versus what's actually feasible.
Yep. And you got to let go if it's not right, man. I mean, I told everybody I was going to do that. And then they asked me, I was just like, it wasn't feasible, man. Can't buy the seed cheap enough. And you guys would pay an absorbent amount of cost. And I'm not going to do that.
It's cool, man. Doesn't it feel like a frontier of sorts?
Totally. Great area, Western, like shoot them from the roof type shit. It's wild, but there's also a lot of ways that we can trend set in that way because there isn't any precedence. We can start precedence with the hemp. And that's why I really like my logo is a goddamn pomegranate with hemp around it. The idea is that Persephone is a Greek goddess. She was lured to the underground. She comes up every year to bring bounty. So the idea is just like a novelty network of good food and just positive stuff. I think I lost track. I'm pretty high. That was cool for a second.
Well, what a better way to whiteboard
right?
stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but I really think, what I was going to say is mixing the hemp and the farm. It's just like novelty. Whether I don't grow a ton of, I'm not making a living off my lemongrass or my peppers, but it's a novelty, cool ass thing.
It fucking makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is it a novelty because nobody's doing it, but it makes sense from a standpoint of we can mix all of our favorite things into one thing. 1,000,
man. And I would subside if people didn't want it, but they tend to. If I like stuff, a bunch of people like stuff, that's why trends happen. It's like be on the front of it and try to like network with other people and find the best way to do it is like, that's the cool thing, man.
To people that's going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not to grandma.
Right. No, but our people that like us, that listen to podcasts and share info and shit. We're all about finding like even Joe Rogan or Tim Ferriss or like, it's about doing cool shit and finding ways to, be fucking nerdy and geek out and find the best efficient way to do shit.
And be happy.
And
make other people happy.
Yep. You know it, man. It's crazy, but I worked in the tech thing and I did like it and stuff, but dude, I was not happy like I am right now. I mean, just every day being able to wake up and play with plants, talk to my friends about it, basically. Like literally, I know I'm fielding calls and sometimes, it can get overwhelming and stuff, but ultimately, dude, I'm playing with plants and talking to my homies about it. Like, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. And if we can all find a way to, even if as a hobby, make a small contribution or make a contribution to yourself, not even selling it, but like everybody take up a little hobby of growing some shit, man.
Walking out your back door and you're at work already. The work you want to be at.
Yeah, dude.
You created that for yourself. You were working a job you didn't want to do anymore, and you decided. Can you talk about that process just a little bit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a long process. So, like, I worked for one company that I was a manager of a computer and cell phone repair store. Had some employees. We're good friends. It was great, but the owner was shit and went to shit. So I ended up working for a corporate thing, being a tech consultant for Assurion, and I wasn't utilizing my tech skills. I wasn't being challenged. I didn't really like the job, man. I was basically just in an office to some degree or dealing with the public. And I didn't really, not doing the way I thought I would be able to fix things. I'm a fixer, man. I want to do problems. I want to be hands-on. I want to like work, Well, this wasn't work. So I worked there and I plotted my way out. I listened to podcasts. I found how to get the hemp license. I mean, I can tell you, man, I sat there while I was doing my Apple certification training. I had Bootstrap Farmer videos open. I built my greenhouse and shit. Man, it was just a year-long process of planning. Ultimately, implementing took about 6 months for the veggies. And so that was about a year and a half to actually get my hemp license, if not 2 years. And then now it's been about 6 months. So, I mean, this has been like almost a 2.5, 3 years process at this point to get there. And I went through trials and tribulations with my girl being like, yo, you make good money. Like, you are not going to quit your job. Like, but she ultimately has always been my biggest supporter, wanted me to be happy. She just knows what we're taught to, like, her parents and my parents both worked the same jobs their whole lives and retired, you know? It was scary as fuck. I'm a little bit more like, I bartended. I jumped around. I always had different jobs. I was trying to find my niche.
No matter what, you could always go back to bartending tomorrow.
Goddamn right. Or go back to fixing phones, which I still do on the sides. The same restaurants I sell greens to and shit. I'll be up there at their bar fixing phones some nights. Ask Catch and Keith and Ricky and shit, man. I'll be up there. So it's just, yeah, you're not going to lose that. You're going to still be able to go back. I do that on the side. That helps me now. I just switch one industry for another and I make less. Goddamn right I do. But I am so much fucking happier. And I know in a year from now, I'll be double or tripling. I mean, there's no way it's not. It's all working out. I mean, and if it doesn't, dude, I've lived happy and I know I'll be able to break even. I probably wouldn't go back. I'd just stay poor and happy as shit. But I am poor, man. Don't get it. Don't. But I find ways to make other money. I will, just like I did with my job.
Man, you're rich. You seem very happy. I mean, that's the point, right?
Appreciate that.
That's the point.
I mean,
I try.
It's nice,
Thank you, sir.
Dude. It's nice just to be able to call somebody up and go, "Hey, we're gonna be in town. What are you doing tomorrow? Meet for lunch, and then get to spend half a day together."
That's my favorite
like
times.
You know?
Thank you, man. I can't believe when y'all reached out like that. I was like, yes. I said yes, yes. Because man, that's my thing. Just like my buddy Eric, man. I only get like once a month some friends coming to town. Maybe record something. Maybe just bullshit and chat and like. I would love to record more there, man. I am going to start another podcast, hopefully, eventually. So that's something in the makings. And it's like, you know, I miss this shit.
Voice, man. People will listen to you.
Right? Right. I'll bullshit enough. I'll talk. We'll talk.
I'm looking forward to that podcast.
Yeah, man. I know. Me too. And I look forward to y'all's, man, because I really feel that what you're adding, there's but you're coming from like business standpoints, different, other hitting all types of shit. It's not just growing like we're saying, man. So I appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, like, for having me and coming and boom, 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 boom.
I need a tissue.
Yeah. That was awesome, man. I really appreciate that.
Fuck yeah, you guys are the best.
Well, God, I don't even know how to end it. I don't want to end. I just want to stay the night.
Yeah, let's hang out. With some music. You know.
Until next time.
Till next time. We'll re-record.
I think
Yeah, 100%.
Have to come out a little bit more often.
Yep.
Joe, thank you very much.
Thank you guys. And I can come visit, man. I'll be mobile.